Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final day of Virtual Evenings for Educators, Yoshitomo Nara, which is also the final day of Virtual Evenings for Educators programming this school year, and the final day of the program's 40th anniversary year. So we have lots of endings today, all of which will make room for new beginnings. My name is Laura Schilling, and I'm the Teacher Programs Coordinator at LACMA. I'm a white woman with curly blonde hair, and I'm wearing a gray tank top. If you would like to view captions today, we do have live captions. You can click live transcript at the bottom of your Zoom window and then show subtitle. My colleague Susie Castillo is also here behind the scenes, and she'll be providing tech support. So if you have any questions about this particular access feature or anything else, you can feel free to chat her directly. I am joining you today from South LA, which is on Gabrieleño Tongva land, and I want to share that LACMA respectfully acknowledges the Gabrieleño Tongva, Gabrieleño Kich, Fernandeño Tataviam, and Ventureño Chumash peoples as the traditional land caretakers of Los Angeles County, which is the region our museum serves. I feel sort of bittersweet today that this is the last day of a full school year of Virtual Evenings for Educators. It's been a really difficult year, and I know a lot of us are looking forward to saying goodbye to it. At the same time, I do want to say what a bright spot these programs were for us on the education team this year and how much we enjoyed sharing space with you every couple of months. I also hope that the programs brought you some joy and meaningful connection with other teachers and creative resources that you were able to share with your students this year. If you feel so inclined to share a favorite Virtual Evenings for Educators moment or memory in the chat, we'd love to hear from you and hear what made this program special for you this year. You're what makes this program so great, so we'd love to hear from you. I just want to say a quick word on the next slide about curriculum resources. We've been creating these throughout this entire school year to accompany each of the programs. So whenever you went to an art making workshop, there was an accompanying resource on story maps for that workshop on that artwork with additional information, resources, discussion questions, other things that you could use with your students. So we're putting the link to those resources in the chat right now. Definitely check them out. And those are also evergreen resources, meaning that they will be online in perpetuity, so you can also utilize them in the school years to come. And on the next slide, we have a little advertisement for our new program series, the Educator Speaker Series. This started in March, and our next program is May 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. with high school art teacher Alicia Mernick. And she's going to be talking about how you can promote social justice, creativity, critical consciousness in your classroom through the lens of art. The registration link is in the chat, and you can also go to the link you see on the slide there, lacma.org/education/teachers. And I also want to share some info about our summer art camp programs on the next slide, which are happening in June and July. These are really amazing opportunities for kids to be involved in art all year round. They're geared towards kids ages 6 to 12. We also have scholarships available, so check out those links in the chat and pass that information on to your students' families. And my last slide of the evening, and my last slide of this Virtual Evenings for Educators year, not to be melodramatic about it, is just a quick plug for the survey that's going to go out at the end of the program. Please fill it out. It helps us figure out, how we're going to create next year's programs for you to make sure that they're just as high quality as our others. If you're a salary point teacher, definitely fill it out. Any other professional development credit, definitely fill it out. And we will log your hours. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. My email's right there on the slide. And I'm now going to go ahead and welcome tonight's teaching artist, Katy Unger. Katy received her Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from the Pacific Northwest College of Art in Portland, Oregon. She experiments with processes in painting, mixed media, and video art, and currently divides her time between creating in her home studio and working as an arts educator for LACMA. As a teaching artist, she's committed to making the arts an accessible resource for individuals and organizations throughout Los Angeles and providing meaningful connections between art, environment, and community. Welcome, Katy.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for that introduction, and just thank you all for being here this evening. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be going on kind of a musical journey, and we're going to let the song that we listen to inspire an original character or portrait. And we're going to be talking a bit about proportion. We'll talk about color and mood, and we're going to be using some kind of unconventional materials to work with. So I'm really excited for this, and just relax, because when we listen to the music, you're going to kind of unwind and use your imagination, and that's what it's all about. So in terms of the materials that we're going to be using, so if you don't have these materials, you can really, use just a piece of paper and some colors. But I'm going to be using some cardboard, some recycled cardboard, some food coloring, and some mixing bowls to mix the food coloring in. I like to use an ice tray, and I'll show you more about this later, but a pencil, some crayons, a paintbrush, and some water for your paintbrush. The reason I love using food coloring cardboard, these are very accessible, you can find from your home, and I actually love surprisingly the way just the colors that food coloring, they have these rich colors to paint with. So it was kind of a fun discovery, painting with food coloring. So yeah, we'll get back to the materials. We want to kind of be sure you have your materials ready to go before we start, but we will give a little time for that in a bit. So this lesson that we're going to do this evening is going to be structured around social emotional learning, but it can be applied to other themes and other subjects. So for instance, students could create a music-inspired portrait followed by a short story that kind of reflects their subject. They could create a portrait inspired by the lyrics of a song that maybe reflects a historical figure or character. Or they could create their own musical compositions and then use that as kind of a theme song for a character. So these are some different ways that you could apply this lesson. And some of the key words, the key terms we're going to be talking about are proportion and symmetry, which use mathematics. That's another thing you can apply to this lesson. In terms of proportion, we're going to be talking about the proportion of a face, and we'll do this together. But with proportion, we're referring to parts or features of the face, and they're the relationships between their size and placement. So for instance, things like, the eyes are halfway down the head. The space between the eyes is about the width of a single eye. So we're going to use some of these techniques before we begin the art, just to kind of create an outline for the face. And then also symmetry, which you can draw a line of symmetry down the middle of your face, and one half mirrors the other half. So we'll talk a bit about this, but then we're going to let the imagination expand from there. So we'll do kind of an outline. And we'll also talk about tone and mood and warm and cool colors, and how how warm and cool colors can affect the mood or feeling of the art and the character. Okay. So a little bit about the artist, Yoshitomo Nara. So Yoshitomo Nara is a Japanese artist who's well known for these big-headed representations of children. And he often uses everyday materials for his surfaces, such as scrap paper. He uses envelopes, wood, and cardboard, which you can see in this piece here. And of course, he also uses canvases for those big paintings. And he grew up in a small Japanese town listening to American music on his family's radio. And he found inspiration, creative inspiration, in this expansive record collection that he had, and not only the records, but the album covers and the artwork on the album covers. And he often considers these children to be kind of inner reflections of himself, so expressions of his inner self. And so now, just want to kind of focus on this painting here, and then we're going to use the chat here and just take some time to look at this piece. This is what today's art is going to be inspired by. And in the chat, just kind of take some time to look at it, and then maybe describe the emotion that you feel from this figure here, or the mood, or the expression. Maybe just take some time to look at it and just share what emotion or feeling comes across from her expression. Ooh, Robin, solemn, tranquil, non-emotional. Interesting. I'm just reading what you're all writing. Unsettled, contemplative, quiet, piercing. The colors smooth, calm. She wants to know things. That's really interesting. Angry, outwardly quiet, inside not so much. Resigned, matter of fact. Disappointed. Judging the viewer, curious about why the adults aren't doing more for the environment. So I'm just kind of reading your comments here. Curious. So this is all based on looking at this figure in the painting and kind of thinking about the emotion that's coming across. So now maybe take a minute and think about the colors that you see. Reflect on the colors, the warm and cool colors, and think about if those colors reflect these emotions or the emotion that you chose. Do you think the colors kind of reflect that or not? Do you feel they're a little different? So yeah, maybe kind of describe the colors a little bit. Neutral. Radioactive radiance. Warm colors. Red and emotions, frozen, scared. This is great. This is wonderful. Yellow, neutral, glowing, but earth tones. So now you're kind of thinking about the emotions and maybe how the colors reflect those emotions, or maybe don't reflect those emotions. And now maybe think about, actually, let's just take a break from this and think about a character from a movie or a TV show or a cartoon maybe. Can you think of a character from a movie or TV show or a cartoon that has their own theme music? Think about that for a minute. And once you get that in your head, once you come up with that character, think about how that theme music reflects that character's personality or mood. Jetsons, Powerpuff Girls, Popeye, Batman, wow. Yeah, so think about the theme song and how that reflects the mood of the character. And now looking back at this piece, if you could think of a song that might reflect her character, what do you think it would sound like? In terms of the instruments, what kind of instruments, or maybe the musical genre, or the tempo? Is it fast? Is it slow? Kind of think about a song that might go with this character. Ominous, ethereal, Yo-Yo Ma. You're naming musicians. Joy Division, chill hip hop, Indian music. It's great. You're already kind of thinking about this music, and this is great because this is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be listening to some music, and we're going to be coming up with a character completely based on the music. So it'll be a little reversed. Nirvana. All right, awesome. Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing here, and we're gonna move over to okay. All right, so now we're gonna move over to the so what we're gonna do now is now I want to show you the materials that we have here. Now I have this bright blue background, so you can kind of see all the materials we have laid out. I have an ice tray that we're going to mix some colors in, some cardboard, some crayons of different colors, some water, and a paintbrush, and some food coloring. Now, again, if you have any, you can just use a piece of paper and some colors. If you don't want to do painting, you can just use a piece of paper and some markers or whatever you have to color with. If you want to use or a different kind of paint, you can use. This is pretty open. But what I would say right now, just before we start, is just kind of maybe I'm just going to add some color already to my little tray here, just because I want to get everything ready to go before we start. I'm just adding some different colors. We're going to be mixing these. So I would say just kind of grab whatever colors you have and just have them ready to go so that when we do start the music, you can just kind of jump right in. I'm just going to start with those. We can add more later. Now we're going to be doing some drawing first before we start. So go ahead and grab your cardboard or whatever surface you're going to work with and a pencil. I'm going to show you some tips with proportion, but keep in mind that when we actually do the art and listen to the music, your proportions can change dramatically. This is just so you can get kind of an outline. And I'm going to be going really dark with my pencil, but for you, and the only reason I'm doing that is so you can see it really well, but for you, go see if you can go really light, barely any pressure. So we're just going to start out with the shape of the face. And, a face is kind of an egg shape, but I'm just going to come up from the bottom a bit and the top. And maybe you can just start from the bottom for the chin and make kind of a slightly curved line. That's going to be the chin. And then I'm going to come down from the bottom a little bit and decide where the top of my head, just kind of lightly add that in, some little marks. And then for the sides of the face, I'm going to go up at a slight angle, maybe add some marks here, slight angle. And for you, you can go really light lines. And then I'm just going to fill this all in. Again, I'm just going dark so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. And now we're just going to go ahead and draw a line right down the middle. After you get your oval, we're going to draw one line going a vertical line. Another line, horizontal line. So right down the middle, and then a horizontal line right down the middle as well. Where about right here. And now the eyes, so you've got 4 sections here. The eyes are about on the right side, this little line here. We're going to go about halfway. Make a little dash or a little X. Same thing on the other side, halfway down this line. That's going to be about where the pupils would go. Again, keep your pencil lines light. The nose is going to be about halfway down this bottom section. And I'm just going to do a little horizontal short line for the nose. And then the mouth, we're going to go about halfway between the nose and the chin. And go a little bit longer. So the corners of the mouth with proportion should really equal or be the same distance as the pupils of the eyes. So if you were to draw a line up, it should be about where the pupils are. So that's just to kind of get started. You could do a little neck. Lightly put in some ears. Again, as you go, you're going to be changing this up a lot. So this is just to kind of get the placement, and then we'll be changing it up quite a bit. All right. So the pupils right in the middle, and then if you want, you could even like sketch some eyes. But again, your eyes, keep your lines light, because you can make your eyes, when you do your portrait, they can come way out of the head if you want. This is completely your own vision. This is just to kind of get started with an outline. All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put on some music. You're going to relax. I'm going to kind of guide you through this. Grab your colors, whatever you're going to color with. We're going to start, before we do the paint, we're just going to start with some colors. I'm going to use some crayons. So maybe I'm going to start with a black crayon. I'm going to switch my cardboard out because I don't want these dark lines. I'm going to throw on some music. And we are going to let the music guide a portrait. Okay. So this is my husband's a musician. He plays the cello, so he composed this piece just for this. So I hope you like cello. I like that someone said yo-yo ma, because that fits it. Okay. So as the music starts, just kind of relax. Grab your crayon. And maybe just close your eyes for a minute. Take a break from the drawing, close your eyes, listen to the music. And you're going to imagine a place. You want to imagine a setting to begin with. And this place can be totally imagined from your own mind and the music, or it can be a place that you've been before, but just try to imagine a place. And imagine you're alone in this place. You want to think about what the setting looks like, what the colors you might see. Are they warm colors? Are they cool colors? What are the colors of the ground and the sky? Now imagine that you see somebody in the distance in this place you've come up with in your mind, the music. And imagine you're walking up to that person. Maybe they're walking up to you too. And you're getting closer and closer. Think about what this person looks like. What are they wearing? Have you seen this person before? Or is it completely someone you've never seen before? Maybe it's somebody from another planet. It could be anything. You're walking up and imagine their face is coming into focus, getting closer, and notice their expression. What expression do you see? And what do their eyes look like? What does their nose look like? Try to notice all the details. Once you start to see them clearly, start to draw in their eyes. Start with any color. Think about what color their eyes are, what shape their eyes are. As you go, you can add color as well. Are their eyes curious? Are they closed? Are they blinking? Are they calm? Now you can think about their nose and mouth. Just try to let the music guide. Ears. You can start thinking about the colors around their face and on their face. Maybe their hair, is it windy? About everything going around them as well, the colors. You can actually start adding colors as well. Just adding colors with crayon, and whenever you're ready, you have some colors laid down with the crayons, filling in a little bit. Then you can move on to the food coloring and water. Just do some washes. Show you in terms of the food coloring. If you grab your paintbrush and grab a lot of water on it, you can kind of spread out the colors with water. Kind of go right on top of the crayon. Just keep adding a lot of water. Some loose washes. Spread it out with water. And then you can actually go in and add more crayon, whatever colors you imagine. Just don't forget to keep listening to the music. Whether this is watercolor or it's food coloring, key is just lots and lots of water. Don't need much of the color. So there's a lot of color there, and I'm just going to spread it out with water. What's nice about the cardboard is it already gives this kind of tone, so you don't need to keep adding too much. You keep it kind of minimal. Now you want to try mixing colors, getting some different tones just from mixing. I love mixing red and green for the dark areas, for instance. Anytime you kind of lose track, just take a moment to just close your eyes and listen to the music again and imagine what you see. Pretty soon, see if you can take a picture of your art. So maybe right about now, this painting is kind of hard to know when it's finished, but it's really all about the process. So maybe take a moment Grab your phone, take a picture of it. Look at it. Look at it in your phone. It always kind of helps to kind of see it in a different way. Maybe this person will come alive a little more if you step back from it. And then Laura's going to share a slideshow, and please add your pictures to the slideshow so we can see all your portraits. I think Laura just sent it. Even if it's just in the process, there's nothing, doesn't have to be finished. Couple more minutes. And then be sure you get it in that slideshow so you can share your work. It's really not about it looking, you know, it's really just the feeling, right? It's not about it looking realistic at all. Okay. So we're going to go ahead, take a break, pause where you are, and we're going to go ahead and go into some breakout rooms and just kind of talk about the experience and share your process, how you felt about it. Sorry about that. So yeah, we'll go into some breakout rooms for about 10 minutes or so and just kind of discuss your creative process, the connections you made, and maybe kind of think about if you could apply this to your classroom, and if you could, how you might apply it. And please also don't forget to share to the slideshow as well. Well, that was kind of a jolt out of the music there. Oh, you're probably all in your zone. I'm like, okay. Laura, we're going till 5:50, right? About?
Yeah, we're going till 5:50.
Okay.
I was just chatting you to say that you can turn off your screen share at any time because I'm going to pop in with the slideshow pretty soon.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, now I can actually see what's going on. Wow. All right.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to start the artwork slideshow. Thanks for submitting all of your amazing portraits. And we're also going to share the survey link in the chat now. So feel free to grab the link if you need it. Susie's going to add that for you. And I'll let Katie take over the next part.
Excellent. I'm really excited to see what you came up with. And I'm just so curious. Oh, wow. Wow, that's incredible. So curious how your, if these portraits kind of reflect yourself in some way, and just the different materials. That's so interesting. Wow. If anybody wants to share as we kind of move along through them and talk about your process, or if anyone wants to comment on somebody else's piece and what they see, that would be great in terms of the colors and this one.
This is beautiful. I love that really free-flowing pastel colors, and then how they're just anchored with that black, just kind of contained ever so slightly. It just kind of grounds the piece, even though it's so dreamy.
So dreamy, yes. Wow. Wow, and yeah, please feel free to use the chat too as we go through them. Wow. So much expression and just these lines in these eyes. Does anybody want to comment on this piece, or the artist what to say maybe about the feeling of it and the music and how you responded to it?
That's actually mine.
Ah!
It's a little unfinished, but I was really inspired by your drawing, your painting. I kind of got lost in it. That's why I didn't finish it, but I was kind of trying to emulate the same feeling. It was so calming, and
Mm.
so everything was so wavy and beautiful. And
Oh,
like, okay, well, this is what's coming out of me.
that's great. Yes, I love the use of lines and colors and just, I think you say it's unfinished, but I think sometimes it's the simplicity and just these simple lines can add so much in terms of the expression and the feeling. So yeah, wonderful.
Thank you. And I really enjoyed the way that you gave us that lesson on how the facial features, the structure of the face, because I
Mm.
was commenting with my group that, that lesson, I can take it to my classroom tomorrow. Tomorrow's Fun Friday.
Oh,
So we're
great.
going to do some type of art. And I was like, oh, I'm going to teach them how to draw a portrait. So
Yay. Excellent.
it seemed like something that
Great to
I
hear.
could do. Like I can handle this. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's wonderful to hear. Right. Wow. Oh, these are all so different. Does anybody want to discuss this one, the artist, or anybody else want to comment on it? Look at these lines. I'm curious what you used for this work.
That was gel pen on top of the
Wow.
it
Cool.
wasn't food coloring, but it was like a liquid pigment watercolor.
Wow. It feels very like layered, like there's this like depth with those lines over the top.
I've only just learned about gel pens. I'm quite fascinated.
Yes, gel pens. I love them as well. I recently learned about them too. They're great.
And I have to echo the last artist who said you're walking us through the steps of doing that portrait was so fabulous because you got the structure down first and then the true creativity really got
Kind
to
of
come forth.
branching off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was super fun. I really appreciated that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for commenting on that. It's great. Beautiful piece. Oh, wow. Wow. So much expression. Does anyone want to comment on this one?
That one's mine, and I was very inspired by the music. The music was really incredible, and thank you for having your husband compose that piece. That was really great. There would be, I teach elementary art, so for me it would be such a soothing piece for the kid. It would just immediately set the tone. So that was terrific.
That's great. Yeah, and I'm happy to share it too. If that's wonderful to hear. I'll tell him that. He'll
Yeah,
be happy to hear
please.
that. Yeah.
Tell him thank you. It was worth whatever time he put into it.
Wow, I love that the looking in this different direction too.
Thank you.
Wow. Whose is this? Does anyone want to comment or anyone else want to comment on this piece? This looks like different material for the surface. Again, so much expression in the eyes.
I love the title Forest Woman, and I love the green, and I'm seeing just, I see the woods happening and I see the green reflected in the eyes and it's, you can really see that even without the title. I think I would have gone there with it, and the blue coming down from the side of the nose, a river, all sorts of fun stuff. I love it.
Well, did you guys notice the different colors that the artist had in the woman's hair in his piece? And it looked like flowers or different colors in the hair. That's what sort of prompted it.
I'm so curious too, if you feel in looking at these, do you find that they're completely original characters, or do you find there's like something about yourself in them, or that or somebody maybe subconsciously? Wow, beautiful. I have my chat open. Does anybody want to comment on this piece?
This piece is lovely. It looks like a face emerging from water, like you're floating there. I feel the body floating beneath the surface, but here's this face just busting forth. It's lovely.
Lovely. Wow. I'm just loving these expressions and find it interesting too, like with this one, you know, the eyes, where are they looking? They're kind of off, you know, rather than looking straight on, some of them are kind of looking into the distance. So anybody want to comment on this one, or anyone want to make a comment on this piece? Again, just the expression.
The eyes kind of look like they're looking down at something.
Yeah, I know. I want to see what they're seeing. These portraits. I love how, again, the eyes, and almost all of them are kind of looking into the distance or internally. Does anyone want to kind of share the process a little bit? I'm not sure how much time we have, but just kind of how the music, were you able to kind of directly respond to the music, or were you, yeah, I'm just curious about your experience between the artwork and the music. Wow, look at that energy in the hair and the eyes. I like that it's on a different kind of paper. It looks like lined paper. Vibrant.
I'd just like to add, and good evening, everybody, that I really enjoyed just having that component of the music added to, you know, to the moment. And for me, it's just very, it's connected, and I just love it. And I love it every time. So thank you. Thank you for having this tonight.
Yes. Thank you for joining, and your amazing artwork.
Cute.
Oh, so sweet.
Very cute.
It's like, is this colored pencil or crayon?
I just saw an animal for some reason wearing a scarf.
I love it. I love that that's what you saw. That's, you know, that's the imagination.
It's crayon. It's what I've been using lately. I never thought I'd draw with crayon, but it's working out well in distance learning, because everyone has crayons. So they're really accessible for the students too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Yeah, and just and playing with crayons and all the things you can do with crayons, and the energy and the mixing of colors, and yeah, which I can see here.
Exactly. And they don't have to put fixative on it like they do with pastels. So that's even
that's true. Yeah. That's true. Oh, that's great.
I wanted to say this is one of my favorites. This is so cute.
Yeah, it is so sweet.
I also wanted to ask, can you see our screens? Like if I were to show mine, because I'm still technology challenged and couldn't email you anything.
Yeah, maybe we can do, actually, yeah, we're about at a time where we could kind of, are there more, because we kind of just hold them all up too, just so for those of you that, wow. Whoa. Incredible.
Wow.
That is, wow.
That was on the other piece from the other day. So they seem to go together.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you did.
No, I love the music. I watched I've been getting into Marvel, and so I watched all of WandaVision, and I watched all of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and this song came on, the Coming Home Baby, and I can't get it out of my head.
I love it. Wow. These
Katy,
are great side by side.
Katy, I just wanted to call your attention to a comment in the chat, or a question in the chat, actually.
Yes.
Wondering how the food coloring dries and looks over time.
You know, I feel like it holds up. Like I haven't used it long enough to know for like months, but I feel like I actually did some paintings with food coloring because I had so much fun with it. Some like big paintings, and yeah, it's the color is still rich, and but I was curious about that too. You know, for like long term, how it will hold up. So that's just a matter of testing it, but I mean, I would say about a month, it's been, colors are still very rich. Yeah.
Thanks, Katy. And I just want to also let everybody know that we've put the resources in the chat again, the curriculum resources from the whole year. We'll also be continuing these next year. So if you just save that link or bookmark it, you'll find new resources there every couple of months that you can use with your students. We've also shared the link for the Educator Speaker Series next month and the survey, of course. And if anybody has questions, feel free, now's your time to ask me or ask Katie. Otherwise, I wish you a really wonderful evening and thank you for attending our programs this year. It's really been great to share space with all of you and see your creativity. Yeah, we wish you a great rest of the year and a great summer.
Yeah, thank you all
When
so
do they
much. It's been
start,
such a pleasure.
Lara, when do they start next year?
We'll start up again in October.
Okay, super. Thank you so much for all of them.
Thank you.
I used all your ideas. They were wonderful.
Oh, we're so happy to hear that. That's great.
Will they have in person next year too?
So what we're looking into doing next year is a hybrid model where we have one program in person, one program virtual, and then one program in person, one program virtual. I'm hoping that by doing so, we'll be creating more access to teachers.
Wow. Great.
All right.
Great.
Well, thank you. Thank you all so much. Had a
Thanks,
blast
everybody.
sharing your incredible work. Have a great summer.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.